Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How you doing? You're at the spot. You're at the place where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, the responses are never dull. We're going to Melbourne, Australia, to see Vicky Jamieson. She's going to talk to us about something that a lot of women talk about. We've talked about it before, but the difference is the way that they address it, the different modalities that they use, how deep they go or how shallow they go. All of that's different because we are all individuals. We're going to talk about hormone health. We're going to talk about our skin, the biggest organ on our body. And we're also going to talk about burnout because folks get burnt out real quick. They don't take a breath. They don't stop. They don't pause. They just are running on automatic. And that's not good for your health. So let's welcome her to the edge. How are you, Miss Vicky?
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I feel very grateful to be here talking wisdom to all your wonderful listeners.
Yeah, the brains, they're here to suck up knowledge. And
great.
Men too, they go through the menopause, so you can get a pencil and piece of paper and take down some things to see if you have some strange symptoms or something that you or your partner needs to go to the doctor about. So let's start at the beginning. How did you find yourself in this space doing this work?
I've actually had my business for a long time, which is going to show my age.
That's all right.
So
at least it doesn't show on your skin.
Oh, great. So 30 years ago, I retrained. I came out of one profession and I trained as a holistic beauty therapist and aromatherapist, which kind of incorporated a lot of Eastern and Western philosophies together. And that started my journey in beauty, but from an inside, outside, reflective side. So my philosophy or belief is that your skin reflects your inner health, and your inner health is made up of, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical health, and then also your spiritual health. So that might be, for example, you feel tired in the morning and you look in the mirror and you go, oh gosh, I've got bags under my eyes. So we reflect back, and other people might not see that. So that's how it kind of started. And then my journey over those 30 years, my personal life obviously impacted, what I investigated. So learning things from a traditional perspective, theoretically, is one thing, but when you're experiencing it yourself and then also helping clients through their journey, you get a compilation of what works, what doesn't, what's real.
Right.
And I guess that's where I've kind of focused on stress, how stress impacts a whole lot of hormones, gut health, how we feel, vitality, basically, and skin health.
And I'm sure that you work in these two areas too, as well as diet and topicals.
Yes. Yep.
There's only 3 ways or 4 ways that it's going to get out of your brains once you put it in. It's through your breath, it's through sweat, it's through elimination, urination, or defecation, one or the other. But you got to get it out. And I love that. That's the first thing. If I go to the gym and I don't break some sort of sweat, I don't feel like I've done anything. But the breaking of the sweat comes with releasing those enzymes and also the breath, connecting with the breath. If you breathe and have a little bit of water, believe and trust, you are going to sweat. Also, the cosmetic industry can be a challenge. I was in cosmetics for a long time, so I know the topicals
Mm,
that we put or don't put on our skin. Now, Vicky, I
yeah.
have to say it. There's folks out there, their skin look like leather. It's awful. They lay out in the sun and they just cook themselves. They never
Yeah.
moisturize, never moisturize. You have to moisturize. Your skin has to drink. You have to stay
Yeah.
hydrated with water. But please put some lotion on your entire body, not just your
Yeah.
hands, because people look at
Exactly.
those arms and they look like fish scales. I don't know what that is. Now, see, from babies, black folks put a little
Exactly.
cocoa butter on the baby, put a little coconut oil. We always lather our skin, and that's our melanin in our skin is different. But for the most part, we don't see the aging of that. But the parabens and
Exactly.
the other products that they put in these cosmetics can also be very detrimental. Even hair dye and color
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
can impact you. Did you find that you ran into some of those obstacles when you were doing a lot of the work in the beauty
Yeah,
industry?
absolutely. Yeah, definitely there's the on the skin and then there's the in the body. So on the skin, it's that pharmaceutical or cosmetic industry where it's toxins. Can your skin actually digest the ingredients that are getting in? So are they a small enough particle? So I know just to go off on the track, because this will be my little tangent. The natural skincare industry is kind of really huge at the moment, but there's a little bit of misinformation out there where, and you'll know this having been in the industry, is that some natural products, ingredients in skincare, it's really good ingredient, but it may not be processed enough to
Right.
enter the skin because we have a skin barrier, which is there to protect our body, essentially. So it's all very well to have natural skincare, which is great, but it also has to be a form that your skin can absorb it and then use it. So there's the toxicity side of things. There's the, say plant ingredients, which hopefully you're using on your skin, and then versus synthetic. And that's another debate. And then also there has to be some form of what I call anti-aging. So if you
Right.
want your skin to use an ingredient and then repair itself, heal, and then turn over to get glowing skin and to keep your skin being vibrant, it has to be getting down to the bottom of the skin. So that
Right.
needs
So
some kind of
yeah, like
peptide,
serums and
ceramide,
things of that nature.
serum.
But
Yeah,
go and get some samples and try it before you invest, because they
exactly.
have serums everything from $29 to
Yep.
1,500. And
Yep,
my mother
exactly.
always
And it
says,
doesn't
well,
need to
they're
be
all the same.
complicated. Yeah, doesn't need to be complicated. You can keep
Mhm.
it really simple, but really effective. It's just knowing the first thing is toxic free. And then the second is getting some anti-aging tech in there. And then using as natural ingredients. So plant extracts is what I recommend because your skin is very similar cell structure to plants. So therefore we absorb it, we can utilize it, use it for energy.
Mhm. That's good.
Yeah,
But you know what? You can buy the most expensive $1,400 serum. You can slather on. I love olive oil. I use straight olive oil just on my
yeah,
skin. I love it.
yeah,
That, but if you don't have your head around it and you are stressed out, it will make you look like
exactly.
you're 500 years old. I have seen some young women that I'm like, you look older than your mother. I wouldn't say it to her face. She's probably scratched my eyes out, but it's that stress. How do
Mm.
we deal with that? I mean, there's a whole lot of remedies. You can be anything from medicated to meditation. But where should we begin? I think it's with identifying what it is and trying to find the root cause. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And so some of it's mindset and some of it is our in modern environment. So
Mhm.
toxins coming in. So whether we are breathing it, having it in our water, unfiltered water, food supply. So nutrition plays a big part. So cleaning that up and we can talk about that. But also, I have this philosophy that I kind of, we can talk high level or you can get really nitty gritty with it. And it's eat, breathe, move.
Mm-hmm.
So, from a stress management perspective, or how we manage ourselves so that we have the capacity to have a more fulfilling life, to be more vibrant, have energy,
Right.
sleep well,
Oh, sleep
all
is
those kind of
critical.
sleep is incredible. So we need to eat. So like nutritious food. And then move our bodies, like you mentioned before about sweating. So we also need to actually exercise, but the actual flow of movement helps us move through thoughts and emotions. It can be very spiritual. We can have great brain waves. So if you're
Right.
thinking about getting stuck in your head about stuff, you can go out for a walk and you can find solutions, because we've switched our nervous system out of that fight or flight, and
Mm-hmm.
we're now accessing a different part of our nervous system, which is on problem solving, creativity, finding solutions. So that kind of thing, from a movement perspective, it doesn't mean you have to go sweat it out at the gym every single moment.
No,
And
but
then,
I tell and mix it up. You sit
yeah.
there and you're looking at that little size 7 hottie. We all hate her. And she's and has her makeup on, Vicky. I'm like, who does that? But
Yeah.
I get it. But she's there and she's on that elliptical, honey. She's on there with the tight little buns and she's on that sucker for 45 minutes. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. But you have to be careful that you don't overdo it, because there's a
Exactly.
lot of people that are trying to get that perfect uh, internet image, and it
Yes.
turns into body
The
dysmorphia.
Instagram image.
Right. And
Yeah.
then you got the young kids that are just, I want to look like her. I want to do this. Well, they don't realize
Mm.
all the work that's been done behind the scenes. And then after they bring it to the forefront, they're still doing some editing and some filtering. You just have to be
Yes.
grounded in who you are. I don't care if you're a
Yeah.
size 24, or you're a size 14, or you're a size 4. You have to love
Mm.
who you are at this particular point right now.
Yep.
Not, well, oh, when
Exactly.
I lose 20 pounds, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, you know what? You might not ever lose that 20 pounds. So what is it?
And that's that beauty from within side of things. Once you're happy within, and that sounds like a pipe dream kind of thing, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole groundedness or the breath side of that philosophy, is that it doesn't mean you need to meditate for 2 hours a day type thing. Take 5 minutes, or take a moment before you eat if you're struggling with weight. It's just taking moments to be mindful. And again, mindful is a big word at the moment, it's very trendy, but all it means is the present moment,
Mm-hmm.
but also the presence within yourself. So whether that's through your religion or whatever your belief is, to be grounded, then you are more centered, happier within, and that happiness within shines throughout your skin. So if people are wanting that vitality, it's coming out, through the eyes of the beholder. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. All
Mm-hmm.
those sayings come from that inner glow, that inner beauty, and that's from the
Tell a lot.
self-confidence.
You can tell a lot by a person's their eyes. You can tell a lot by their teeth. You can tell a lot by their tongue. I know that
Yes.
I had an examination when I was in Asia, and it was minimally invasive. They didn't draw any blood. They didn't, probe or prod. He just kind of looked and he could see almost the window of
Mm,
my soul. So you haven't
yes.
also worked with individuals with burnout. Tell me a little
Yes.
bit about the work that you do.
So it's looking at where women are, and this evolved from a time in my business. When I set up my business, I was 25, and then at 29 I went through burnout. In those days, this was in the 1990s. It wasn't called burnout, it was adrenal fatigue, and but it took like 4 years, because every professional I went to said, you're typically healthy, what's wrong with you, why are you here? But I knew deep down that I was struggling to get out of bed, had no energy, all these kind of things. So that's kind of where it stemmed from, and then taking all the wellness side of things. So where I work now with women is taking them where they're at. So there's a variety of levels of burnout. So we might catch it early, or it might be at the far end where you're totally adrenally exhausted. And then we slowly work you back. So we look at that whole wellness wheel. So nutrition, movement rather than exercise, rest, sleep, what you do for emotional health, who's your social support crew, who's your wellness team, then all the little pieces of the puzzle that fit into that. And it's more the hand holding. So you can know something, but if you're not doing it, then you don't come up with your little challenges. So it might be like,
You're
okay,
not,
eat this and this.
and it's accountability too, you know.
Yes.
You've got,
Yeah.
that's what your cheerleader is for. That's what your coach is for, is to really
Yes.
kind of be there to remind you, to be a constant reminder. I'm
Correct.
doing a food tracker right now. And at first I thought it was so annoying. I partied a lot this weekend, so I didn't do it. Yes. And the only person I'm lying to is myself. I mean, there's nobody
That's
else to
it.
be accountable to. And I had that
Yep.
conversation with myself. I was telling someone else that, you know, I said, April, you show up for everything else. You show up for events, show up for your clients, you show up for the podcast, you show up for your husband. But are you showing up for yourself? And no, I wasn't showing up for myself. So now I do this food tracker, and it's really fascinating to see where I think calories and sodium and cholesterol is coming from. It's not that. It's something totally different. And it's a challenge. It's like almost being in Vegas. Can you hit that number? Don't go over that number.
Exactly. And
So
when I start working with people, I said, "What's your diet like?" "Oh, my diet's pretty good." I hear that all the time.
Right.
I eat pretty good. So it's like, okay, exactly. What are you eating? So doing a food diary is perfect because you have this perception. This is what I've found. We have this perception in our head of what we're eating, but is it reality?
No.
And then what are we drinking? What are all the things going in our mouth?
Right,
And
right.
then also, what
Drinking
are
the
we
calories.
drinking the calories. And what are we telling ourselves? Are we validating, oh, I've made it through the day, I can have a wine?
Right.
Well, what are you really having the wine for? Okay, let's look at other options that we can fill that void. It doesn't need to be wine. It could be, sparkling water
It's
with
about
a slice of
consistency and
lime.
discipline, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was in Los Angeles and I ate everything I saw because I don't have those restaurants here. It was absolutely delicious. But now I look like somebody stuck an air hose up my butt. Really, my stomach's all bloated. You know, I don't drink sodas. I had a couple sodas. I had several cocktails. All that's coming to haunt me. Now I got to start kind of virtually all over again to get that bloat down, to get that number down. But I know what to do. But it's not about it being an on and off switch. It really needs to be consistent. And so when I go somewhere, you know, I'm going to Las Vegas this weekend. There's some great restaurants, but you know, we'll go, we'll have dinner, or we'll split it. You know, you have to look at it. And portion control. The portion control, I really never paid attention, and now I'm doing it. A cup is a whole lot of food.
Yep.
You know, your stomach's only so big, and you're trying to shove in, you know, 3-4 cups of this and that. It doesn't work. Then you have to eliminate. And that's very important too. That, you know, I tell people all the time, you got to look at your elimination. You can see if it's discolored. You know, I just learned this, that diarrhea is a part of constipation.
Correct.
People
well, it's just your colon's not working right.
It's not working right. So you got to get it to working. Speaking of working, you're working and with women to help them thrive through the menopause. Girl, you got your work cut out for you. But there again, that food journal, it saved my life.
Yes.
Because I could see what my triggers were. I could see how long it took my body to react by the time I took a certain thing or didn't take a certain thing. Your circadian rhythm and getting that under control so that you get that deep REM sleep. Give us some other suggestions, Vicky, on you know, people that are struggling, because you know what? They go through the menopause too, not always naturally. Sometimes it's done because they've had to have surgical procedures, you know, or sometimes they're very young. So,
Yeah.
how do you do that? Some people are going to need, the jab, some hormone
Yes.
replacement therapy.
Hormone replacement, menopause treatment. So everyone, I think that's the key thing to remember, is that everyone's journey is different. And so what's right for you might not have been right for your girlfriend or your friend down the road or your neighbor. So it's really trying to get in tune with your body initially, like what makes it feel good, and like having that food diary. So, okay, I eat XYZ for lunch. How do I feel an hour later? Is it giving me good energy? Does it make me feel bloated? Am I going to the toilet? How am I going
Am I
to the
sleepy?
toilet?
Yeah, am I sleepy?
Am I sleeping that night? Do I have weird dreams? Things like
Right.
that. Do I get cranky or hangry? Am I putting on weight in a certain area like belly fat is a classic, or I call it the back veranda. So under your bra strap. So that's more to do with liver health and detoxing. You can start body brushing as a really good way of helping your elimination and your liver toxin. So yes, we look at foods, so less inflammatory foods. Also when you eat, so your windows of eating.
Right.
And I'm not talking about intermittent fasting. I'm talking about regular, to get into your circadian rhythm. So
Right.
everyone's
Absolutely.
slightly different, but we can, follow a pattern. And then the classic is, how much protein are you eating? And again, most women say, I eat lots of protein, or I'm vegetarian, so I'm okay because
I'm glad you said that. I was looking for I'm going to do that too this week. I meant to put that on my list to find a really nice vegan restaurant. But I tell you something about that protein. It's not as easy to find as I thought.
Correct. Yes.
People
and
think,
also,
I'll get the protein from meat. Well, the body was really never designed and consumed to eat meat. And if you look at the strongest animals in the animal kingdom, they're vegetarians.
exactly.
So I don't get that. But when I looked at my food journal, I saw something that really scared me. I saw that the protein and the cholesterol are boyfriend and girlfriend. They have a relationship. So if I want to pull back on the meat, there's only so many nuts I'm going to eat.
Yes.
Eggs. You can have 2 eggs, and that's your cholesterol for the day. You have those 2 eggs all week long. Now your cholesterol's up. Where do we find the protein?
So again, everyone's different. And if you're vegetarian, it is going to be from legumes. And that's pretty much it. So chickpeas, lentils, all those kind of things. However, saying that, you have to soak it. So there's a lot of preparation with vegetarian. And I think in today's world, we want vegetarian to be very quick and fast. Vegetarianism is meant to be slow cooked, in my way of thinking, for your body to absorb the nutrients, for it to break down and use the enzymes correctly. Otherwise, you can get a lot of bloating. And you want to feel full, but not over full. So you don't want to feel stuffed because you don't get other nutrients in. And then it can work on elimination issues. Or you want to have a little bit of meat, say like with fish. If you look at those animals, going back to those animals, most of them would eat fish or, other small animals. Or if they're plant-based, if you're thinking back dinosaur day, plant-based, they're consuming a lot of vegetables and a variety.
You look at like the elephant. You look at the silverback gorilla. You look at the rhino.
Correct. Yes.
They don't eat meat. Giraffes.
Yeah, they don't. But they're having a variety of and a volume.
The lion only eats the water-soluble part of the body. They don't eat the skin. They eat the liver, they eat the kidney, that kind of stuff, and then they leave the rest for the old buzzards.
So they're eating the protein rich or stuff that's got very high amino acids in it. So again, it's protein focused. So whatever your diet, and I'm not pro one or the other, but I just want you to have a balanced diet so that you have proteins, so that you have carbohydrates, because that's how your brain functions. And as we get older, it's a healthy way to work on healthy hormones, healthy neurotransmitters. We've got to think about, as women particularly, but guys as well, Alzheimer's and dementia, strokes, all of those things, so that we have clarity, cognitive function, we're making good decisions. That needs amino acids. You need carbohydrates for that. And then you do need fats, again, for all those as well.
Sure.
Hormones, brain, heart, cholesterol. So
Right.
essential fatty acids rather than other fats.
Right. And again, the
Yeah.
best way that to take all the guesswork out of it, because I didn't want to count calories. I didn't want to be bothered with that. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, it's lunchtime and I only have 300 calories left. What am I going to eat? And sometimes you're not hungry. Sometimes you're actually thirsty, but you got to turn it off. If you're pouring into this container for 12 hours, you need to give it at least 12 hours to digest and go through the process. Because we can't see it. It is a very intricate breakdown of what is separated, what's processed, what's released, what's used, what's stored.
Yep.
You know, the body is a machine, brains. It really, really is. So let's ask you some fun questions, Vicky. If you could time travel, what period would you go to and why?
Wow, time travel. I'm a bit of a futurist, if you like. I love all the science fiction stuff, quantum physics, all those kind of things. If I could time travel, I think I would go to outer space, but like maybe a next galaxy. There must be one out there.
Well, hang out with what's his name? Elon Musk. He's running a shuttle.
Well, I don't know. Maybe some other thought leaders out there.
He's one of the innovators, one of the pioneers. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
I think I'd be a blender.
Why?
I blend all the time. I'm a bit of a smoothie queen.
Yeah.
I make smoothies for everything.
Okay. I'd be the dishes.
Dishes.
I'd be the dishes. Yeah, I would you know, I like to lay it out. I like to be pretty. I like the presentation. You know, and it's a way to serve. I think that it's a proper way to serve. So I would be the dish.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
If you were an animal, what animal would you choose to be and why?
I think I would be a lion.
Really?
I think a lion, because you know what? You can be kind of calm. You can also be looking at your prey, but then you can make fast movements when you want to and get what you want, and then you can just chill the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's what I said. They just love to lounge. I go to the zoo and I'm like, okay, if you don't hit them between 4 and 6, you might not see the lions because they're stretching and laying out. And don't let it be a couple lioness in there and one male. It's just all over. I think I'm going to be the party animal. How about that?
Oh, that's a good one.
Tell me the last book you read.
The last book I read, you know what? I read the what was it called? And it's a show now on TV. It was hilarious. It's called and it was a fiction book. The Chemist. No, it wasn't called The Chemist. It was called, it's on TV. It's really, really Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Have you seen it?
No,
they've made it into a show.
Okay.
And it's a little bit women's lib, but it was set in the 50s and 60s, and it was about a woman scientist. It just it tweaks my scientist brain.
Absolutely.
And they tried to stick her in the kitchen and make this cooking show. It is hilarious. If you haven't
I'm gonna check it
read
out.
the book,
check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
Last book I read was Atomic Habits.
Oh, great book.
It's a great book, and it was so simplistic. It was so easy. I've incorporated at least 3. You know, you want to be able to, you know, from cover to cover, but that's not realistic to retain it. But I really started implementing 3 new habits, being able to combine habits, you know, so that really helped with exercise. I got a little bike pedaler up under my desk. So when I'm editing, I'm pedaling.
Oh, great.
And, gardening. Gardening is wonderful. I
Yes.
just redid my garden, and you can go out there every day, trust me, Brains, and find some weeds or something to do.
Yep.
Absolutely. You can do that. Do you have
And
children,
that
Vicky?
I do have children. I have two children and a granddaughter, actually. So I have a son who is 25, going on 26, and a daughter who is 22. So, and then a granddaughter. She's going to be 4 in a week's time. So,
So you're pouring into that 4-year-old as a grandmother, because a grandmother is sweeter, gentler, wiser, and kinder. What are you doing to set her up for success?
well, actually, I have her one evening and one day a week. So I have her for sort of a 24-hour period of time just to help them out. And oh my gosh, it is so different being a grandmother than it is being a mum. So you can play with them. You can just, I feel like it's my wise woman give back time but also for her to give to me because, it's the young, the questions, the play, the wonder and everything. We can go and literally take a walk down the neighborhood and smell the roses and talk to the neighbors. And there's a new excitement about every single thing. Oh, look at the birds. Oh, look at the trees.
Mhm.
It's a great time. The only thing is the energy side of things. They are so energetic.
Oh, I know. I know.
So
It's
yeah.
like you're looking at your watch. Okay, is it nap time yet? But we can
There's no
only
such thing
be
as that.
we can only be so lucky to, have that childlike innocence, to have that curiosity, to, want to go to a futuristic place, to
Yeah.
be, to be a blender, use our creativity, mix
To be
things
a
up.
blender.
Exactly. So you use all of
Yeah.
those things to help individuals come up with the best recipe for success from the literally from the
From
outside
the
in,
inside.
you know,
Yes.
because
Yes.
it takes effort, but it also takes ingenuity and it takes coaching. And I really appreciate the fact that you have done this. Sometimes people get into the beauty industry and there's like, okay, well, let me just sell this serum and let me just do this.
Yeah.
But you've really gone beyond that. And you said, I want to make a difference. I want people to understand what they're doing. If they still opt to do it, it's not like anybody didn't tell you, correct?
Yes, correct. Yep.
So
I
tell
just
my
want every woman to sort of feel the best they can possibly feel, and it doesn't need to be hard. I think
no,
that's a
and it doesn't have
sort
to
of
be
a
overly expensive. Now I do recommend
no.
a massage. Like you said, I went where was I? I was on a cruise ship, and that was the first time that I got the body brush.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah, and so I got it now, and my husband's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to, circulate that lymph node, those lymphatic,
Lymphatics.
yeah, get all that
Yep.
blood flowing and stuff. Because when you sit at a desk, you're stationary,
Yeah.
and then you've got
Yep.
sciatic problems. You guys know you do. So you just really have to take all that into consideration. You are so wonderful. Thank you, Vicky, for being here on the show. Please tell my brains about your program, how to get in contact with you, and so that they can work with you. And she's virtual,
Sure. So
brains. You don't have to be there in Melbourne.
no, you don't have to be in Melbourne. I do 2 online programs. So the menopause one's called Thrive Through Menopause, and it's available on my website. So I'm sure you'll be putting the show in the show notes.
Absolutely.
My
We'll
website
put it in
is
the show notes.
betterbody.net.au. Yep. Thrive Through Menopause. And then I have my mentoring program, which is more one-on-one coaching, and that's Beat the Burnout. So super excited to help women be their best.
Exactly. And the burnout um it can wear you down, but I think, in my opinion, the best thing to do is to be aware of it. Don't try to
Yes.
pretend that you're not stressed, or
Mm,
delegate. Ask your
yeah.
husband to go to the market on the way home from work. Ask your
Yes.
neighbor to pick up the kids for you. Send them to
Yeah.
Vicky's house and play with the granddaughter.
Come and watch Moana with me.
Yeah, you have to be able to, again, offboard a lot of the stuff. Delegation is important. loving yourself, being gracious, and being
Mm,
gentle with yourself. You know,
exactly.
um,
Yeah.
you absolutely deserve it. This is the only life that we know of that we can validate
Yes.
right now. And so I
Correct.
suggest you do that and get a good skin moisturizer. Something.
Please get a good skin moisturizer. Your
And an
skin will love it.
exfoliator,
And
right? And an exfoliator
yes,
because you got to get that dead
yeah,
skin off first. Don't just try to pile
exactly.
some oil or lotion on top of that crust. You got to get that off so that
Yes.
the skin can breathe. And it will, I'm telling
And
you,
take it in.
exactly. And you see that beautiful décolleté or your arms, or you have, I see a lot of people with acne on the back of their arms and things like that. You can get rid of that stuff, brains, and your skin can
Yep.
just be like beautiful.
Glowing. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you one
Any
question.
sag.
Yeah, this is back to the animal thing. Are kangaroos vegetarians or do they eat meat?
Kangaroos, I think so I'm not Australian. I'm actually from New Zealand and I moved to
Oh,
Australia 10 years ago. So I didn't really study
okay.
kangaroos, but I think they just eat leaves.
Okay. But kangaroos are not in New Zealand?
No.
Really? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that. Well, I guess it would be quite a trek to try to get over there. Because I went and I tell you, those kangaroos they're something else. They were
They're
everything.
very big.
Very big. They can be very aggressive, so you just have to be careful with that. But
Yes.
that's a
Yeah.
side note. Brains, we're gonna put you in our pouch like a little Joey
Oh, nice,
and take
cute.
care of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm also on Instagram too, if you want to reach out to me, your listeners there, Instagram and Facebook.
Well, go in. I need you to like, love, share, and subscribe right here. If you forget where you are, you forget something about Vicky, she's going to be there. She's going to be posted up. She's going to be on all these different podcast outlets to really share with you this information. You can go back, rewind it, share it with a friend. It's nice, it's easy, it's relaxed. It's not one of those talk at you. We're talking with you because we care about you. So thank you so much,
Yes.
Vicky Jamieson, for being here on the edge. Come back and see me again, mate.
You're welcome. Thank you, mate.
Bye, brains.
Bye.